think we made it.
Really?
Yeah.
Good.
Be sure to send Pop a link.
I'm trying to pop the link now. Alright.
We made it.
Yes, we did. Copy link. Alright. Facebook. We'll first hit Twitter. Because this will be easy. Wonder if... Alright.
Hello.
Hello. But everybody's partying. So.
Yeah, probably. Put the old armrest down.
Yep. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the group. There we go.
Adjust the old white balance.
Yep. Alright.
There we go.
So I gotta find the... I have to find the page and then put a link in the post. So... Paste. Join us. Okay.
Nobody's watching right now.
I know.
But you know, holidays and all. And the fact that we got stuck and my amazing dad pulled us out of there with his big ass Toyota Tundra truck.
Yep.
With super manly truck. Pulled our sad albino rhino out of the mud. It was stuck in the mud and it was making this ee noise. Ee. Because the tires have no grip. I do not recommend the Patagonia tires. No grip. Ee. Yeah, for Christ's sakes, Dolores. I know, man, it's crazy. We're literally sunk trying to get out. It was ridiculous. But Pop's like, here we go. Put this right out of there. Did you hear that Velcro?
Her name's Dolores. I thought we were gonna name her something. What was it?
It's albino rhino. It's not Dolores. That's what he wanted to call it.
No, I thought he wanted to name her something like
Juanita.
Juanita, yes.
Should be Juanita. It was being a little problematic. I guess I should turn the car off. There we go.
There we go. Lovely noise. Paste.
And it begins.
Alright, gotta get everybody shared.
Sweet. Can you send a message, like an actual Facebook message?
Yes, hold on. Let me go ahead and do that now. Share.
To my parental unit who extracted us from the mud.
Yes, I'm trying to do that right now. Messenger.
We don't want excuses. Hey, you're right.
Save.
If you'd like to file a complaint, you can do that using our email. contact@CreepGeeks.com.
So.
Very nice.
Yeah. So how are you, celebrating New Year's?
Poorly. Watching us. It's like the only one.
We're providing entertainment for actual grown-ups right now, you know.
Yeah, it's still could be out partying it up.
Yeah, no.
Oh, look at somebody's parking right next to us.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Let's see.
So.
He's in a hurry. Got all authoritative.
Oh, he's already halfway well partied.
Ah, halfway drunk. I don't need to use delay tactics. Sweet. Well, that's nice.
Me and Pepper are covered in mud, so.
I have some Jolt Cola.
Oh, gosh, killing me.
Yes.
All right, so let's go ahead and get this shared to a couple more places, and then we should be good. So.
Yes. Celebrating on the couch with Chuck and you guys.
Aww.
Good times. Let's hope 2019's better.
Yeah.
There we go. Little nude music.
So. Oh, we have 3 people watching now.
What? 3 people?
Or 4. I'm not sure. So. So, you other people, say hi.
Hello?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They do still make Jolt. Found it at Dollar General.
Yeah.
Of all places. They had 12 cans. So I bought them all. Yes.
And he actually cradled the little pack they were in like this and carried it all the way to the counter.
That's not true. I put it in the cart.
They would have believed me.
So, I know. But it just makes me pathetic. Even more pathetic than I already am. Can't even get out of a driveway.
Shh. I don't...
These tires suck.
Yes, they may suck, but I don't necessarily think it's all the tires itself.
Oh, so you're saying it's my fault?
No, I'm saying it's the driveway's fault.
It's pretty much my fault.
I'm saying the mud here is so thick that all those extreme commercials for auto safety and various tools and super tread tires, they're all based on bad experiences in North Carolina mud. So that's what I'm thinking. So.
But yes, to answer your question, yes, they still make Jolt.
Yeah. Which is funny because I've been looking for real sugar Pepsi.
She's been looking for Zima.
Shut up. Ew, yuck. That stuff's so gross. I've been looking for real sugar Pepsi because this is North Carolina, home of Pepsi. They don't have it. So.
Yeah, the taste is terrible. It's like
is.
drinking bad RC Cola.
It's like tasting an anxiety attack about to happen. It's,
No, it's not that bad. I
Yeah.
think you exaggerate too much.
It's, thank you. Thank
You're
you so
welcome.
much. Happy holidays.
It's, oh, thank
Okay.
you. It's just a little trash.
What is wrong with you? Oh, gosh.
Well, we recorded the audio podcast a little while ago and had a special guest commentator or commenter.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty nice. So my brother Will, if you're watching Willard,
Yeah.
very nice. So, which is pretty cool because it was kind of a quick impromptu thing and it worked pretty much flawlessly. Once I unmuted his microphone, it sounded better. So,
But at least we started off pretty much the new year with we had a guest.
yes,
So that's, I'm actually very happy about that. So,
yes.
yep. Okay, I shared
And
it.
we were probably going to have another guest. It's in the works.
Yeah.
So we'll explain it as we go along.
Yeah.
So. We still have 3 people watching. Is anybody else watching?
I don't know. I sent it to everybody. I don't even know if the post went through. So.
Well. So, Mr. Hunter, I don't know why it didn't make it to the building. I don't know, or to the, we did have a commentator. Commentator. I don't know, we sent you guys the Christmas stuff. We put work on there. We actually put the name of the business on there.
Yep.
So my thoughts is that when the guy at the post office was putting it all on the computer to get it there, either he didn't do it or
Well, remember he said
something.
He said this pulls up as like a complex or a business. Or
Yeah,
something.
and I said,
Yeah.
well, use the business name and it'll bring it right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's funny
So-
because I put your name as well as somebody else's name on there. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So
we apologize that it didn't seem to get to you guys before Christmas, but if you had a little surprise and it made going back to work
yeah.
better, then
But it's weird because every other package we sent out actually
Yeah.
got there before Christmas. My dad said it actually came on Christmas Day.
really,
Yeah.
wow, cool.
Because I guess they're fancy like that. So.
Your dad's fancy like that?
Well, his neighborhood is. Or
Ah,
his, like, I don't know.
community.
Community is fancy like that.
That's
So,
cool.
Yeah. I don't. Oh, he is in a space. Okay.
Yeah, some dude come blowing up real quick and jumped out and took off.
Yeah.
So.
Oh.
Well, good. I'm glad people liked it because we didn't really know. We wanted to do something, but we just wasn't sure what to do. And we kind of thought that those looked unique. So, because honestly, I forgot what was all in that box.
Yeah.
So,
Well, people got ornaments. Brian got a special necklace.
Very nice.
And Julie got a necklace.
Very nice.
Yes. And Dave got a bracelet I made him a while back and forgot to give him.
Very nice.
So, yeah.
Oh.
Aww. So.
We had somebody say they couldn't watch because the bandwidth was being used for work-related stuff. That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
For being where we are in Carolina, bandwidth it's premium around here, I guess.
Yeah.
It's okay though.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
So.
Very nice.
Okay. Putting one more post out. There we go. So.
What?
I don't know.
So did you do a Facebook message directly to Pop?
Yeah, I did.
Cool. You know if you've seen it?
No, I don't. Sorry. Sid. There we go. Already invited.
Cool.
See? So.
Very nice.
Yep. So now we're down to 2.
So we lost one.
Yep.
Brian's like, I gotta go. Yeah, you should have. That'd have been funny.
You know, that person was so upset that I wouldn't talk to him.
That's okay.
But that's okay.
That's the past.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
you can wear that necklace at the next event that you have to be at that person with. So,
There you go.
Yes. I'm just showing off my love of handmade gifts.
Yes.
So.
Special gifts.
Yeah.
Pepper is here.
She is. She's very grumpy and she's covered in mud. So am I. So.
Oh.
Well, maybe you just have a good exit tool to hold on to in the future. So. I can't get.
It's like this.
Okay. There we go. Let go. Yeah. We have a eyeglass holder thing in the van. And it's difficult to use.
Yes.
So. But what is that noise?
I don't know.
Huh.
It's a high-pitched whine.
Yeah.
Maybe it's coming through the stereo.
Yes,
that
it
fixed
is.
it.
Huh. Alright, so we're gonna share that one more time.
Brittany's here. Hey.
Hi.
Hello. Sweet.
How are you, Brett? So. Oh, that guy took off.
Yeah, he jumped in his car and rolled out. He was like on a mission.
Huh. So.
Well, like, why would he park like right next to us and then run way in there? I don't know.
I don't know.
We're good. We got stuck,
Yeah.
and your grandpa saved us.
Yeah.
So, I got mud on my trousers.
And his dog.
The dog is in the car.
Well, she got mud on her trying to get into the van.
On my trousers.
So, yeah. So, like, I bet her paws are all muddy.
Trousers. That's the word for 2019, trousers.
No, it's not.
I have to go to the store and get more trousers.
No.
Yes, not the ones next to the slacks. Slacks.
Oh.
I'm glad Brian mentioned that. He's like, oh, Oh, thank God someone else showed up. I thought I was going to have to carry the show
Yeah.
for the next 2 hours. I was just trying to figure out how we could go home and eat Little Smokies and be done with this whole thing.
I know, right?
Just the way this day has been going.
And
it was great until we tried to leave, and it was kind of,
Yeah. Brittany missed. We had your uncle on the show as a guest for the audio podcast.
Yep.
And as far as midnight is gonna go and New Year's, that is a sign that you're a real grown up. When you're like, yeah, I could stay up till midnight, or I could be an adult and go straight to bed.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So if you want to hear your uncle on the podcast, you need to download the podcast, and you can get the audio version from iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, Spotify, Christmas Pickle, whatever, man.
So.
Yep, or Audible.
Are we on Audible?
No, we're not on Audible.
Oh, okay, all right. So, not yet.
I don't think we're on Audible. I don't even know if Audible does podcasts.
We should rate them.
Or we should just look.
Okay. Excuse me, I'll get over here and do that.
I don't know if we're on Audible. Audible is more for audiobooks.
So is anybody...
Oh, she just wanted you to say the thing.
Oh.
Audible is an entertainment.
You want me to read the commercial?
Yeah,
Great.
Audible is an audio download.
Your brother thinks that's the most fantastic thing, that I read that all NPR style. And I'm like,
yes.
No, I'm just trying to read it without, like, slurring my words or stuttering or making
Well,
a mess
he
up.
showed up today, and we were in the bunker studio getting ready to record. And he was like, yeah, I'll just hang out and watch. I'm like, okay. So we did our thing, and about 10 minutes into it, he started talking. And we're like, man, you can't really talk. He said, nobody can hear me like everybody can hear you. Oh.
Because
So then we just set up a third microphone and
otherwise
did it real quick.
We would have had an episode where you heard a ghost mentioning sriracha potato chips.
Like, all out, like, sriracha. So it's pretty funny stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's welcome anytime.
Actually, I want him to, like, tell his Bigfoot stories and stuff. So.
Well, don't put him on the spot.
Well, no.
Now you're putting him on the spot.
When he'd like to.
3 people or whatever.
4. Look.
We got 4?
Yeah, we got 2 more. So.
Who?
I don't know. It doesn't show me who. So. Let me see if I can find out.
Just play yourself.
Stop.
Comment.
Oh, no. Cancel. Nope. That's not it. How do I see who's chatting? Oh, gosh. So.
I never looked at... How do I look? Does my hair look good? It's nice.
Did you stop?
Got some luggage. Got some new bags. Katie's here. Hello.
She thought it was the end because her sister posted the Audible thing. Gosh, you guys, do I have to read it now?
Yes, we'll turn the music down.
Great.
Hold on. Can you do it?
Audible is an audio entertainment that entertains, educates, and inspires. For you, listeners of the CreepGeeks podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/cheapgeek. Again, that's audibletrial.com/cheapgeek for your free audiobook.
That was nice.
And you know what's funny?
That was nice.
The commercial's actually longer than that.
Yes.
We've actually cut it, so.
Best one yet.
No, it's not.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.
Oh, gosh.
30-day free trial.
Yes, it is. And after the 30 days are up, you can still keep those 2 audiobooks.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Forever.
Yeah.
So there you go. If you're going to take a trip or something like that, you should get a free trial and download a bunch of audiobooks.
Yeah.
Yep. And if you do have Audible and you don't download books, you get credits. And you can download books.
Don't we have some save credits or
Yeah, I got like
something?
6 or 4 or something like that.
So.
We use them for trips.
Yeah.
Podcasts and audiobooks. So especially if you have like a long ride from home.
Well, like, We were doing that thing where we were listening to podcasts and we started running out of them, so I got a couple of audiobooks.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So New Mexico is getting 5 to 10 inches of snow.
Oh my God.
Man, it'll be gone by 10 o'clock usually, right?
The low is going to be 3 degrees.
Ooh.
That's crazy.
You know, we were snowed in for a couple days and nobody seemed to care.
Oh. Well, that's because it's North Carolina. But, like,
Yeah.
we're out here in a North Face hoodie and I'm hot. So that's how the weather is out here.
Yeah.
But it also hasn't stopped raining at all. So we even hiked a little bit in, like, some drizzle. So it just will not stop.
It was wet.
Yeah.
What do you want me to keep tapping? What are you pointing at over here?
I'll just play something.
Okay.
So if you're getting 5 to 10 inches of snow, I mean, have they declared a state of emergency yet? So.
Mud.
And I think it's funny, we leave New Mexico.
Mud sucks.
And it just snows. And now we come here where there's so much mud, I can't even walk into the house. I have to take my boots off outside. So.
Like a savage.
Yeah, and get my socks all dirty.
Oh, look at you.
All my Christmas socks. Dirty. So, yeah.
I don't have any sympathy music to play.
Shut up.
Just saying.
Ooh, the popo.
Shh. Don't give away. Our VanCast, broadcasting live from a van.
Mm-hmm.
Walmart's. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, I saw like 3 of them pass. So, because it's New Year's, so there's got to be some stupid stuff happening. Yeah. But, do we go ahead and get started with the podcast?
Sure.
Okay.
We'll do it.
Well,
I'll be right back.
You stink.
You stink.
Alright, so this is VanCast.
Can't even see me.
Shh.
They can't see me.
They can see you.
Don't strike me.
Alright, so this
Hold
is...
on. We're going to get started. Shh. Get ready.
17 to 15 inches in the mountains. Wow, so it's not gonna melt.
Ooh, you guys might actually have some snow that sticks around.
You better post some pictures on Instagram.
Yeah.
Seriously, Brian. Pictures.
Okay, now that threat's over, we're going to get started. You ready? I like peanut butter. I like peanut butter. Peanut butter. I like peanut butter. I like peanut butter. I like peanut butter. Peanut butter. You're watching the CreepGeeks podcast. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. I can't remember the rest of it, but you can get a free trial if you go to audibletrial.com/cheapgeek. 30-day free trial. What? Oh, that's nice. Sweet. You can get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial. Over 180,000 titles to choose from. That's it. I'm out. Done all I can.
So this is
That's the end of
episode
that.
VanCast number 5. And we're doing a ByeBye 2018 and a review of the Mandela effect.
Yes, an
Yes.
overview, sort of a helicopter view of the Mandela effect.
Yes, which we talked about on the audio version of the podcast. So
Yes.
be sure to download that if you want to listen to a more in-depth discussion of the Mandela effect.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a shorter podcast. It's about 45 minutes because we need to make the podcast slightly shorter.
Yeah. Now, if you don't know what the Mandela effect is, you can go ahead and Google it right now, or we can tell you.
Well, tell them.
Well, let me...
Tell them what it is.
Here, I gotta go back now.
What is the Mandela effect?
Oh, I lost it. So the Mandela effect is the possibility of a false memory by individuals or groups of individuals for something that is commonly believed to be true but is not. A good example of that was many people believed that Nelson Mandela died in the 1980s, like somewhere around 1982, 1983, when in fact He had just been released from prison in like 1993 or 94. And people are like, wait, I thought he died. So that's an example of it. Oh, Jacob's here. Hi. And that's another one. The Berenstein Bears versus the Berenstain Bears is another example of the Mandela effect. So we went into some very detailed information on the audio version of the podcast. Hi. And,
so with the audio podcast, we did talk a little bit, so we'll touch on it here real quick. So according to a paranormal researcher named Fiona Broom, the Mandela effect occurs whenever you have a vivid personal memory that's found to be in conflict with the historical record.
Yeah.
Like what she was talking about with Nelson Mandela.
I mean,
a lot of people thought he died. I thought he died in like 82 or 83.
Yeah.
You know, and was shocked, you know, when he wasn't.
And
we're not talking about when you confuse somebody like, you know, Morgan Freeman versus, you know, Nelson Mandela.
Which is another, but that's, you know, how many times has Morgan Freeman been declared dead?
Yeah.
You know?
And when you have other ones too, like the Berenstein Bears versus the Berenstain Bears.
The Shaq or Sinbad Shazam movie. That's another one. We also did Jif versus Jiffy Peanut Butter.
These are some Mandela effects that you may or may not have heard of.
Yeah.
Like, for example, growing up, I always knew basically Jiffy Peanut Butter to be Jiffy Peanut Butter, but evidently that's wrong. It's Jif.
Yes.
So, and funny thing is, asked my brother, and he said it's Jiffy. So he remembers it being Jiffy Peanut Butter, and I remember it as being Jiffy Peanut Butter.
Yeah.
But now it's Jif for some reason. It's changed, you know.
And since
that's JIF, not GIF.
Yeah.
For you nerds out there.
Over the past few years, since people have been noticing the Mandela effect, people have tried to document certain things. A good example is the dot in Kit Kat is missing.
Yes, the dash.
Or dash.
Kit used to have a dash and then cat, but now it's not there anymore.
A lot of people remember the dot. I'm still torn. I'm not sure if that's actually what researchers and scientists are calling a false memory or not. Like, did I think it was there or not? There are some excuses or rationalizations of the Mandela effect, things called schism-driven errors, which is the way in which your brain processes memories, as well as something called fuzzy trace theory. Fuzzy trace theory, which is the formation of memories in individuals. The semantics of the memory are formed separately from the actual event. An example would be if you have a vivid memory from your childhood that involves like your grandpa's blue truck passing by. Well, blue truck passing by is stored over here in the brain, and then the rest of the memory is over here, and something gets like a lost packet in like networking terms. So these are these scientific rationalizations of Mandela effect.
That joke was pretty good.
Yeah. Brian says it was Jiffy cornbread. So.
No, we're not talking about the cornbread mix.
Now, during the podcast, we discussed some reasons or causes for the Mandela effect, as well as, I guess, some people who may or may not be affected by the Mandela effect. Like time travelers, or major celebrities that don't seem to be fazed by it, or major celebrities that are kind of crazy. Yeah.
Like who?
Like Jim Carrey. Have you ever seen any recent interviews with that man? He deliberately, or maybe not deliberately, says certain things that make you wonder if he's in the same reality as us. Like, he had an interview with some female celebrity person. He's like, oh, it's nice to meet you again. She's never met him before in her life. Or he'll say something like, he'll be talking to somebody, he's like, wow, it's interesting. Last time you said that, you were kind of a jerk, or something like that. So there's all sorts of conspiracies. It turns into a giant rabbit hole. Greg, he actually kind of fell down that rabbit hole a little bit, watching some of the different theories.
I'm okay, though.
And some of the noticeable Mandela effects, our guest Will also noticed a few of them too. So, but we read to you guys a couple of the common Mandela effect.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, if you look at jet planes, like commercial airliners from the past, you know, the engines were like right under the wing. So you had the wing and then you'd have the engine, you know, there it is.
Yeah.
But evidently it's changed to where the engines now sit forward of the wing. And I don't ever remember that. I always remember being back, sort of tucked under the wing. But now they're saying that they're forward. And when you see pictures, they're all forward. And it's like, how? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
But, you know, that one was brought up, and I thought about that one because sometimes, you know, we have a visitor in our podcast who works on aircraft, and I wanted to ask them specifically, hey, do you remember seeing something like that?
Yeah.
Like, also advertising and stuff, things were different, like Chase Bank, for example. You know, like the colors actually changed in Chase Bank to where they're not the same anymore. It's kind of weird, you know, things, just small, minute changes that you know and you remember one way and there's something else, or completely changed in a way that's really sort of in the subtle details, right? But the thing about it is that if this was like a false memory, I can see it where a false memory would be something that would be, you know, make more sense if it's located like you and your family, or,
Yeah.
you know, close personal acquaintances, that kind of thing. But there's thousands and thousands of people who are noticing these differences all over the world. So how can it be a false memory that we all share?
Yeah.
And it causes that reaction, see, because you can vaguely remember stuff and go, yeah, I don't really remember, I don't know.
And
But some of the stuff is like, well, hold on a second, I know that it was this.
And how can it be like mass hysteria when these large groups of people who believe this memory aren't connected?
Yeah.
I mean, I have a very specific memory of the one example, the man who was protesting in Tiananmen Square, and it shows him standing in front of the tank and the tank runs over him. I have a very vivid memory of that. But apparently,
during the Tiananmen Square uprisings, he was standing there with his grocery bags.
because I remember watching it in history class, my teacher saying, you know, I can get in trouble for showing some of these things, but I'm going to go ahead and show them to you. And I remember watching that one. Ooh, we get to see the first bad thing, you know, in school. Very excited. And now they're saying that didn't happen. He climbed on top of the tank. Now, I have that memory. Somebody else that I don't even know also has that same memory.
Yeah.
So it can't actually be mass hysteria. So, hi Spooner, I mean Seegers.
Oh.
Yeah, and see, Brittany says she heard that he climbed on it. See, I have a different memory.
Yeah.
And that goes further down into the rabbit hole that people's memories and people's interpretations or perspectives on things mean that they're a part of a different simulation, or that their parallel universe or their universe and their understanding and concept of the universe is a different version. So not only is there the Mandela effect, but everybody else is walking around with their own perception of reality.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And, you know, and there's more of these, and it's funny because I can't remember them now. It's kind of sad, but
Yeah, well, as far as like, you know, Brittany remembering one thing and I remembering a different thing, there is a thread, believe it or not, on 4chan of all places, where a CERN scientist, you know, like the Hadron Collider and all that stuff,
yeah.
CERN scientist popped onto 4chan of all places because it's a great place to be anonymous.
Well, they don't know if he's a CERN scientist, but they're
Yeah.
thinking that this person is above CERN. But
Yeah.
there were some weird comments made from this person who,
And he talked about simulations 1 through 4, or if you're aware of one thing, it means you're a part of a different universe.
yeah. And for example, like the color we see as red, what didn't start out to be the same color that we know as red. It looked more chartreuse.
Yeah.
And somebody said, I don't remember, you know, this chartreuse color, which is like that weird yellow,
Yeah.
as red. And another group said, that's red. Like, that's the color red. And it was like, well, how do you explain that? And it's like what she was saying, that like, oh, we made these changes, you're from version 1 through 4. Where whoever this is enacting small changes in our reality and changing small things because they need to be corrected.
And we have a comment, which is another popular theory, which is that the government erased the original footage from Tiananmen Square, and we're getting scrubbed history.
That's entirely possible, too.
Scrubbed history is a term that is used a lot, because it's not just that. One of the very popular examples is Eli Whitney, inventor of the cotton gin. Everybody starts off with, was Eli Whitney an African-American man, or was he a white man? It turns out he was a white man. And
see, I don't remember that being the case.
that's confusing because
I remember Eli Whitney as being the slave who invented the cotton gin, and then his slave owner put it into action.
And I remember reading Eli Whitney, a freed man, because that was a term that I was like, I don't understand that because I was a little kid. Freed man, inventor of the cotton gin.
Yeah.
That's how I remember it.
Because you used to learn about Eli Whitney and the cotton gin, George Washington Carver and the peanut, and everything that was made from the peanuts.
Yeah.
Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks. They were all in that same
And why
African American History Month, or what we used to call Black History Month.
Yeah.
There never was the white guy in there, ever.
And why would we celebrate a white guy during Black History Month?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, and some people say, well, I mean, he invented it to make it easier on his workers, but from what I remember, Eli Whitney made the cotton gin to make it easier on his slave buddies.
Yeah.
Because he was freed as a free man, but he still worked with the slaves as being part of, later on became sharecroppers.
But that's another example of the scrubbed history thing, because some of us looked at textbooks and interpreted the information one way, and that's in our memories. And now scrubbed history is presenting us.
And see, like even here, Seegers says, I knew he was white, but I'm from a textile family. And then the comment underneath it says, I remember Eli Whitney as being the black American slave who invented it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And it's confusing. It's a rabbit hole. You can have people who remember one thing versus another. Like, I was in a Reddit thread where people were arguing that Reba McEntire's name is spelled wrong from their reality or from their memory. I mean,
yeah.
Reba McEntire, what does that matter? Yes, she's a country music star. Yes, she's very famous and she's a lovely woman, but still, it's just the spelling of her name. And you have people vehemently, just very seriously arguing over it. And it's just these little tiny weird quirks.
Just small blips in the radar.
Yeah.
And, a lot of these theories go back to being tied to CERN, and that, these blemishes started, or these little blips, or whatever you want to call them, started appearing when CERN started. They started doing all their experiments, and so I don't know. It's kind of a crazy thing, but it's like, okay, so with CERN firing up and doing its thing, looking for gravitons and things like that, it's entirely possible if they, try to find the gravitons, they can actually start poking holes in what we think to be our universe, our reality. So we've got parallel universes, alternate realities, alternate universes, alternate Earths, all these theories coming out that can't really be disproven or proved, right?
Yeah.
And so the theory is that we have alternate realities, like you have like Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 3.
Kind of like comic books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With parallel universes, parallel realities. And that with CERN, and they're testing, trying to find gravitons or poking holes in all these parallel universes and alternate realities, and that they're sort of touching, and some of this information is being passed back and forth, and it's making small, minute changes in each one of them. So if they're like bubbles floating around, Earth 1 and Earth 5, for example, and you have it, to where something is causing the influence to change, where now they're actually reacting to each other, the little bit of information gets passed. So, like what would happen here for Jif peanut butter, right, gets shifted to Jiffy peanut butter, and on the other side it becomes Jif for them as well.
Yeah.
So who knows, man? This thing is freaking crazy, and it's a deep rabbit hole. So almost like the Matrix movies and all that stuff. It's like what you know to be reality isn't real reality. So there's even a theory that the worlds did end in 2012.
Yeah.
And that our universe that we know and our parallel, or our reality that we know, has been completely changed, and we've been supplanted, so that what we know to be true is true. In other words, oh man, everything is gone, but we pulled you all and put you here,
Yeah.
somehow, so that your existence can keep. happening, so you can keep existing, so you can keep thriving or whatever.
Like maybe our reality was destroyed in 2012, so now we're in an alternate. We all got shoved into this alternate reality.
Yeah, and they have to fix certain things. In other words, the realities were so close that you wouldn't know that you're not actually here.
But then that brings to attention the people who experience what are called residuals, residuals, which are these apparent discrepancies, like the GIF versus GIF. What? So if you have somebody who experiences those, then does that mean that the veil is thin between the reality we're in right now and the reality that we were in? So,
that's crazy. There were people in the comments saying stuff about our stream.
Oh, okay. So
on the left side, it looks great. The right side is lumpy and wrinkled looking. Are you talking about me? Is that what you're saying? And Brittany's saying we got rebooted.
Oh, okay.
The left is the Omi side for us, so Seeger is obviously poking at me.
Yeah.
So.
And see, the GIF versus Jiffy, me and Montana both remember that. We thought it actually changed. Like it.
Well, that's part of it. That's part of the Mandela effect. You remember it one way, and then you notice that it's different and that you think it's changed. And so when you contact advertisers to ask them, hey, did you ever change? They're like, what the hell are you talking about? No, we've always been Jiffy. And see, you're like, that's not true.
But see, with like a lot of this stuff, some of us wouldn't recognize it, like, or dismiss it as something like Montana and I, we grew up for a little bit in Hawaii, then we came to Virginia.
Yes.
So maybe something changed, maybe brands are different, like Best Foods is Hellman's, depending on where you are in the U.S.
Well, that's because the company was bought out. But,
but
what if Hellman's changed? What if it was Hellman's? I remember Hellman's as being Hellmans.
Yeah.
But evidently it's Hellman's with 2 N's.
Yeah. The same thing with Schwann's.
Yeah. Schwann's was one of the ones that really got me because, people say, like, I remember Schwann's as being SCHWANS. But now it's SCHWANNS.
Yeah.
It's like, hold on a second. And I spent enough money with Schwann's on those stupid, they are delicious though, Sundae cones and all that stuff. And I'm like, why? It didn't have 2 N's.
Their cordon bleu is really good.
You know what else is pretty good? Their corn dogs are pretty tasty too. Not all of us could afford the cordon bleu.
Well, you got the introductory pack and then you immediately canceled. So that's how you do that. But yeah.
That's not nice.
But little things like that, I mean, you rationalize them away with, well, maybe it's because I moved and it's different in this region, or maybe it was some sort of typo in my history book.
According to the comments, right? Mm-hmm. Schwann's.
Yeah.
And then Schwann's with 2 N's. And my daughter remembers it as being Schwann's with 1 N.
Oh, he just typed it to look at it.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. You type certain things out, like, since I'm getting older now, I have to type them out to make sure they look right to me.
Yeah.
So is it just a massive autocorrect?
I don't know.
That could be weird.
So, like, when you type something, you go, that doesn't look right?
Yeah. So, like, the universe is just replacing your whatever
maybe
with
these
its
little
autocorrect.
blips, these little spots that hit, maybe that's how it gets corrected when it's finally sort themselves out and separate.
Like maybe,
and it fills it in, and then that becomes a reality.
Autocorrect. I like that though. What if it's autocorrect though? Like, what if we don't have a lot of little ducks swimming in ponds and eating little breadcrumbs? Maybe they're not called ducks. I'm so entertained right now. Anyways. But I don't know. The thing that bothers me the most about the Mandela effect is that the consequences of it. The consequences of the Mandela effect are either extremely mind-blowing and unsettling, or they're completely meaningless. I mean,
but are they?
Well, if we were to take
if you were going to change time, existence, or reality, would you make a big drastic change?
It depends.
Or do you change like something small, and then 10 layers deep it changes or affects something else, which creates a bigger change? Kind of like butterfly effect, right? Tiny little butterfly wiggles its wings and creates a hurricane somewhere else. right?
Yeah.
So maybe the small change in GIF, 10 layers down the road or 10 levels later, creates this larger effect, and Hitler is dead.
Okay. Well, that's nice, and that's
Well,
nice.
don't.
No, that's nice, and that would be an easy transition for a significant change. But I'm also looking at it from I know this sounds terrible, but the Georgia Guidestones perspective.
Taste this.
Let's cull the
Joe
herd.
Kohler, everybody.
Let's cull the herd immediately down. If you were to create and this is a psychology thing, if you create such a severe, drastic change in society and culture, it usually causes a drop-off of that society. So why not do it that way?
Because that would be too abrupt, and the changes you have would be detrimental, take longer to correct from it.
From a human population
You need to change something.
perspective.
If you're going to change something, you want to change something very small so you don't have such a large or lasting impact on whatever it is, because you can control the outcome. If you make a huge drastic change, then you might set in place a course. You might set a chain of events that happens where you can't fix it, you can't control it. So if everything is being controlled and trying to fix these little issues or whatever, you only control what you can control, right? Maybe they're doing the small things, or whoever this is, or whatever it is doing the small things because they don't want a cascade effect that puts everything completely out of control, and they want it blowing up Earth 1.
Yeah.
Maybe we're on Earth 13, we don't even know.
This Jolt Cola tastes
Mine
weird.
tastes delicious.
So.
Delicious.
So, maybe Mandela effect is something created by future time travelers to correct certain problems.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because there's a couple time travelers that are probably stuck here.
Yeah.
So what they're saying is, or a theory is that Matthew McConaughey and Pharrell are time travelers that are stuck because of the changes that have been occurring.
Well, it's not
so
just them.
if the changes in the past happen and it changes things, it will definitely affect the future. So if you change the past too much and you're in the past, you can't get back to the future that you left because the future that you left doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. And what's funny is Pharrell Williams and Matthew McConaughey specifically have been asked several times, I know, all right, but they've both been asked specifically, are you time travelers? In, lighthearted as well as serious situations. And they've both avoided the answer or dismissed answering it in a genuine way.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves was another one, but I think sometimes he gets looped in because of the movies he's been in.
Because of The Matrix.
Yeah. But another person who the movies he's been in, it gets reflected upon him, would be Jim Carrey. So...
Yes.
Jim Carrey, like I was mentioning earlier, if you look at some of his interviews, that man is either very flippant about his interviews with the public, or he is keenly aware that we are all living in a construct full of errors. So maybe he's aware of something and he's trying to tell us, wake up, sheeple. Who knows? Granted, politics aside and all that other stuff aside, he is insane, but who's not to say insanity doesn't go hand in hand with having a better perception of what's really going on? And see, the insanity, that we're getting in the comments, maybe he's insane, that's my concern with the Mandela effect, because what if it means that, out of all the rational things, you keep noticing the Mandela effect.
The video was frozen.
That the Mandela effect means you might be insane or have some sort of mental weakness or mental illness, because you perceive things differently than other people. How terrible would it be that if you kept noticing these things, you got locked up for being insane, or you got locked up for being disruptive by the government even, I mean, it's not that far of a step.
Yeah.
So, and I explained it more eloquently on the audio podcast, by the way. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. So, let's see. So, Oh. But what we want you guys to do is basically... Oh. If you start to notice the Mandela effect, write in, message us on Facebook, send us an email, contact@creepgeeks.com, even call the show, which you can do. Everybody knows the number, but the number's going to be 575-208-4025. So, if you have a personal Mandela experience that affects you, let us know.
Yeah.
I'll give you guys... It doesn't matter how small, because I have a very small one that I want to share.
There's a bunch of them in movies.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Luke, I am your father.
Yeah. So.
Which is really what?
Yeah.
He doesn't say, Luke, I am your father.
No, I am your father.
He's like, no, I am your father.
Yeah. So
that's one.
Mirror, mirror on the wall.
Yeah, remember Snow White?
Yeah.
Where the salty evil witch is like, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
Yeah.
That's not what she says, according to what's happening now, right? In this reality, what she says is, magic mirror on the wall.
Yeah. The Bond braces.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
With his jaws, Richard Keel's jaws, and he had these big titanium teeth. That was his super villain power, is he could bite through stuff. And
then he meets a girl, and supposedly, what everybody remembers, because I'm not familiar with one, this is that the girl
in the Moonraker movie, he meets a girl.
Yeah.
And she's standing there, and she's got pigtails, and she's not scared of him because he's this big guy with big metal teeth. And she smiles at him, and she has these big gnarly braces, and so they had something in common, and they wound up running off together.
Yeah.
But according to what's being shown now, is that she doesn't have braces.
Which?
And I remember distinctly that she had braces because I was a little kid. I wasn't that little when Moonraker came out, but the commonality is like, oh, look, they're boyfriend and girlfriend. They both have something in common. She had these big crazy ass braces, and he had his big metal teeth, and they looked at each other and smiled. Otherwise, what? Because it was basically a play. That scene was a play on Frankenstein's monster, where Frankenstein doesn't scare the little girl gives him a flower, and she could see through all that and see that he was a person. Same thing.
Yeah.
They had a commonality to share, so she smiled. I can't remember her name. Anyway.
And that got taken so far that years later...
He remembers that distinctly. Seegers remembers in the comments.
Years
later, I remember. A
credit card commercial happened in a lot of European
Exactly.
countries.
That was the heart of the scene.
Yeah. Well, this credit card commercial happened with that same guy, like, decades later. And he shows his credit card to, like, an airline attendant person.
He did these advertisements for these mini credit cards. They were the same thing as regular credit cards, just smaller.
Yeah.
And she was at a grocery store, and he says, do you take this mini whatever? And she basically just looks at him and smiles, and she has these big-ass braces.
So why would that commercial do that when she's got braces? They're trying to recreate something, you know?
Yeah. So if you've seen Moonraker, the James Bond movie, and you remember that Jaws met that little girl... She wasn't little, I mean, she was regular size, you know, but... And she had braces, you're wrong.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
But, yeah.
Potato has always been spelled that way. P-O-T-A-T-O. There's no H in potato. It's not a word, sir.
But if you have a Mandela effect that has struck you personally, no matter how little or how big, let us know. We'd love to know. We're still very interested in this topic because it's just such a rabbit hole right now. And we keep finding things that are unsettling. I have one about a Hello Kitty toy I had when I was a little kid, and when Hello Kitty actually came out. So, I think she came out in 1972.
So we have some questions, right? So what would happen if we're trapped in a parallel dimension?
Yeah.
So what would happen if the Earth came in close contact with its doppelganger in that universe? What happens if they touch? Is that where all this is sort of coming to? Because if you think about it, if we have parallel Earth, parallel dimensions, parallel reality, right? And they come together and touch, and it creates that point of contact where both sides are being bridged, because this could also happen with time-space. That would explain a lot, because if both parallel universes, realities touched, wouldn't it be possible for something to pass through?
Yeah.
It's like maybe you could actually see something like that. So both realities touched, that point of contact creates sort of a portal, and then one thing goes from one side to the other. Next thing you know, you got pterodactyls flying around.
Or Bigfoot sightings,
Or
interdimensional.
Bigfoot sightings. Because people
Bigfoot.
report that they see them and then they go away.
Yeah.
So,
Hi, Helena. And yes, it was the Hello Kitty ornament on the swing, the little wooden swing. There's a date on the back of that, and I could have sworn it said Sanrio 1972.
yeah.
Montana, if you remember differently, let me know, because I am just messed up over that one. So
these point of contact, boom,
Yeah.
portal opens up, right? Which is that shared space. Pterodactyl comes out, flies around, you see it, and then it separates and it goes away.
yeah.
Or it goes back where it came from. Because if time and space are relative and they're all connected that sort of way, that would make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of crazy, but I mean, that would explain a lot how things are there and then suddenly they're not.
Yeah.
And no evidence of being able to see anything. You know? Like, for example, Loch Ness Monster, right? There is not enough food in the Loch Ness in the Loch, or Loch Ness in Scotland, to support an animal that large. There's not.
Okay.
I mean, you see all the video footage where they've been down like 6 or 8 hours and they got cameras. You don't even see a fish.
Yeah, that's true.
But, you know, hey, parallel universe or reality, boom, they touch. Loch Ness Monster is actually there, swimming
Slips in
around,
for a little bit.
doesn't see anything, whatever, gets pulled back to where it came from,
Yeah.
and his loch, or, you know, the Loch Ness Monster's loch of Loch Ness, lots of stuff to eat.
Oh, yeah. We have a comment. Seegers has seen a weird bird like that before, years ago. Leathery looking, but so far off, who knows? See? What if
See,
it's...
that would be a petrosaur or a pterodactyl.
Yeah. So... but yeah, there's a big camp in the cryptid community.
And we were talking about this
Yeah.
with like the Thunderbird.
Yeah. There's a big camp in the cryptid or cryptozoology community that feels Bigfoot might be an interdimensional creature. So the fact we haven't found a Bigfoot yet, the fact that all the evidence is, you know, can be cast as inconclusive. Is it because he's just popping in and out when universes touch?
And they call the differences between parallel universes and parallel worlds the veil.
Yeah. So
who knows? I mean, what if like the disembodied voices and ghost type stuff that you hear and see, part of that is just sort of being so close together that's bleed over from the other side.
that's unnerving.
Kind of like when you hear somebody singing, or you're in an apartment and you hear music from above. You know, you don't see them, they don't exist, right? But you hear the music, but you know, okay, that's because you're in such close proximity.
Yeah.
So what if it's something like that? Or just being so close in proximity causes a sort of bleed over type thing. You know, like when you're in Pennsylvania at Gettysburg and you see an entire army troop go cruising by.
Yeah.
And they don't see you, but you see them, but you know what happens? They eventually fade away. So maybe that kind of thing happens all the time.
And we're only keen to it lately because of social
Or maybe we've
media,
always been
internet.
keen to it, and it just never got out.
Hmm.
I mean, because think about it. If we're in this group chat we've got going on right here, we've had 3 or 4 instances where people remember things a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So what if, really, a ton of people remember things differently? Thousands of people remember things differently. So for every thousands of people that remember things differently, there's 2 to 3 times more than that who ain't saying anything.
Hmm.
Because, I mean, if you told people, yeah, man, I seen a pterodactyl flying around.
Pterodactyl.
You know, either your friends are going to go, I mean, I believe you, or outsiders that don't know you, you're freaking crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're tuned to not see things that we can't handle sometimes. That's very true. So.
That is true, but it doesn't mean that we don't have the instinctive responses that go along with it. You know, flight, fight, freeze.
What
You
gets
know,
me-
those are,
Yeah.
you know, they happen subconsciously, really. But I still think we have that radar. And especially with like Bigfoot and weird stuff like that, you know when it's like a natural threat or an unnatural threat, right?
Mm-hmm.
You ever got that feeling where, you know, like, oh, like I've talked about this before, you know, you know the fear you get when you see a bear. But then you get this unnatural fear when you see something unnatural. Maybe that's because of the phased reality, right?
Yeah.
Because if each reality is slightly out of phase, that's what keeps them out of being existing at the same time at the same place and occupying the same matter. Maybe that slight phase difference that causes physiological effects.
Well, and those physiological effects, though, they extend not just to those reactions in those instances. They also extend to being confronted with these Mandela effects. I mean,
Well, yeah.
when you told me the whole Schwann's versus Schwann's thing, it unnerved me. Like, the hair on my arm stood up. I was taken aback because that is a confrontation that I can't wrap my brain around right now.
Yeah.
It's almost as bad as like seeing a bear in downtown running at you. It's like, this isn't supposed to happen. Brain reboot, you know? So.
I have no idea what color the Pillsbury Doughboy scarf is.
Yeah.
Blue sounds good.
Yeah, I thought it was blue.
Some people are saying red or
Yeah.
green.
Yeah.
Maybe a chartreuse.
Chartreuse. The fake chartreuse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's saying blue. See, I thought it was blue. Oh, man, y'all are killing me. So, pills.
Okay, now they're making it dirty. Why doesn't he wear pants? You know, it's unsanitary. I don't want that near my crescent rolls.
My thing is, I always, and wasn't Pillsbury spelled with one L? Or was it spelled with two? Has it always been spelled with two?
I don't know.
Oh, gosh. Oh my god, it's not blue. I hate you.
Well, what
No,
color
I
is
don't. I don't want to ruin it for the chat. White.
It's white, you plebeians.
Yeah.
But I thought he had a colored scarf of some kind. I didn't think it was just...
Yeah, I always thought it was blue.
That's weird.
Ew. Yeah. Now, Stave Puff Marshmallow guy, he's got a...
He wears a navy...
He wears a navy, like,
Cracker
dickie,
Jack.
or whatever.
That's another thing. Is it Cracker Jacks or Cracker Jack? We'll wait.
That is so weird.
Cracker Jack or Cracker Jacks? What do you think?
I don't know.
I'm not asking you. I'm asking them. Okay, so one person says Jacks. Ryan says, I guess Ryan says they're Jacks.
Yeah. Helena says...
Miss Espinoza says Cracker Jacks.
Yeah.
Ah, and then Seegers, who looked it up on the internet, says, he basically says Cracker Jack. I remember it as being Cracker Jacks,
Yeah.
plural. But they say, no, it's Cracker Jack. Like it's referring to the guy on the box as being a Cracker Jack.
Oh.
Who basically he wears like Navy. He's wearing like a Navy uniform. But it doesn't make any sense because then when you sing the baseball song, give me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. You know, take me out to the ball game and give me
Maybe
some
they wanted
popcorn
2
and peanut-
boxes.
No.
Okay.
It's Cracker Jacks, man. I remember that. Jacks, straight up. And all copiers aren't Xerox, but that's what we call copying machines. No, actually, that's what you call copying machines. I call copy machines copy machines. Because Xerox is the company.
Oh no. That is so weird.
Jolt.
So,
Delicious.
is water wet? Alright.
How do we ban Brittany without her knowing?
We're not gonna ban Brittany, okay? Jack. See, and that's getting me. And further up in the comments, you know, some people remember the Pillsbury Doughboy having a red scarf or a green scarf.
I don't think it was green.
Well, but what I remember is when they came out with different product, like crescent rolls,
Yeah.
I thought it changed color to red because crescent rolls or pizza roll, you could turn the pizza crust, so red, Italian, blah, blah, blah. So I thought it was a marketing thing, you know? So,
Yeah, is it Captain Crunch or is it Captain Crunch?
it's Captain.
Well, he's really, excuse me, technically,
And Adam.
he's not a captain at all. He's a commander.
Oh.
So he's what do we call it? Stolen valor, man. Stolen valor. Is it Barnes and Noble or Nobles? I always remember Barnes and Noble as being Barnes and Noble.
Oh, okay.
Because they used to pay me. And it said Barnes and Noble.
The Looney Tunes, or Looney Tune, that's another one.
See, I remember, and Tunes was spelled differently, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember it being Looney Tunes with 2 O's. Because it was short for cartoons.
I remember Tiny Toons being spelled that way.
But,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, wow. The post first... Oh, so there is a vintage doughboy with a blue scarf. Okay. See. I remember Looney Tunes as in music because the intro music and...
I don't. It was after the cartoon.
Okay. I don't know.
They were Looney cartoons. Looney Tunes.
So... No.
Yes. See, I don't remember it that way. I always remember it as being Toons. Mandela effect.
See, I don't know. This is messing me up, though. But it's to the point where I want to get some books on it and stuff and maybe talk about it more in future episodes.
Maybe, but I'm not going down this rabbit hole.
Why?
I'm not, because there's going to be no answer for it. There's going to be no reason why this is happening. There's going to be nothing that makes sense. Because no matter what you do, and depending on how you place your argument, you can be right or wrong.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. See, Brian remembers tunes. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, a lot of it depends on, from what I've been looking at, about how old you are is how you remember things. So
I'm as old as Mr. Brian.
No, I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
It's like that period of time, you remember as it was in that period of time, and then when the shift occurred where it changed, that's how you remember it. So like Brittany remembers things because she's definitely younger. So her reality is different than what I experienced. And see, that's part of it. So you got this big wide range of ages, and they remember things to be certainly in what's their reality versus what my reality would be a little bit different,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. I remember, I can't remember how it was with the M&Ms. The M&Ms there was something about the M&Ms that I wanted to say, but I can't remember what it was.
See,
aside from the guy that invented peanut M&Ms at Mars, he was allergic to peanuts, so he never had his own thing. So
see, I remember that.
Yeah, pre-shift, post-shift. And the remnants that are left over, when you find physical evidence or evidence that basically supports your claim of this is the way it was, not the way it is, those are called residue or residuals.
Yeah. So.
Like, for example, when I was talking about the jet engines being located forward of the wing, like if this is the wing, the engines were forward, instead of being sort of tucked under like I remember, there was actual... commercials. There was material, movies that were made to sell those aircraft that showed the engines tucked under the wing, not sticking forward. So I remember those big commercial airliners as having the engines like underneath the wing, not forward like they are now.
Yeah.
And it showed it in that video. So, and it was like back from the 60s. So even in the 60s, when it showed it that one particular way, why is it when you look at it now, it's completely different? Like, no, it's always been that way. And that's called residuals, or it's a residual remnant of a previous either timeline or something. I'm not exactly sure what to call it.
So what if the timeline is just completely shattered and we're just walking through pieces or wading through pieces of this shattered timeline, like a broken mirror on the floor?
I don't know.
Yeah. And who's to say it's just one broken mirror? What if it's two broken mirrors and you're trying to put them...
What if we're all just tetrahedrons just floating around bumping into each other?
All right, Jim Carrey, which is something that
Yeah,
Jim
but
Carrey
that's not
says.
even... I mean, that's what he says, but
Yeah.
that's not his idea.
Yeah.
That goes back to...
So...
That's more Indian, really. Or energy fields.
There's people who don't remember the blue M&Ms for some reason. The orange M&M, that's another one that people don't remember.
Yeah.
A tan the tan M&M got reintroduced with the coffee M&Ms. So, yeah. But yeah, so this is a rabbit hole that we've fallen into.
There's hundreds of these.
Yeah.
If you go on YouTube, you can waste many hours looking at some of these.
Yeah.
But it keeps going on and on. But the ones that get sort of proven, those are the ones that I'm like, wow,
Like the Chase Bank one.
Yeah.
The Shazam. Some guy found a VHS tape with
Sinbad
in Shazam.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's been debunked or if it's true, but there is a YouTube video on it. So that's one that just messes me up because I'm like, wait, he has one copy that was floating out there in the universe that he just managed to get a hold of.
And he was super excited too. He's like, I have evidence.
Yeah.
But I cannot find that guy's video anymore.
I think I found a link, and it was somebody
who linked his link?
Screen grabbed them watching that video.
Yeah.
And I think that's what remains out there on the ether.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm gonna need some closure for this new year with them Asian banjos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Seeger, so you remember that movie with Sinbad playing a genie, right?
Yeah. And here's the other part of it. He says, Brittany says, I thought that was Kazam. Because that's the other one. Is it Shazam or Kazam?
Kazam was with Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah. Because...
The other movie was called, I'm pretty sure it was called Shazam.
Yeah.
And it had Sinbad in it. Because I actually watched it. I remember watching it with your Aunt Jessica.
Huh.
Brittany. And not liking it, going, this movie sucks. But little kids like that kind of thing, and you kind of got to stick it out, right?
Yeah.
So, kind of crazy. Yeah, it wasn't good. Because remember, Sinbad started rocking those stupid parachute pant things after that.
Yeah. Oh, and now Will Smith is going to be starring in some sort of remake of Aladdin.
Yeah.
And he was on the cover of Entertainment Weekly recently in the genie outfit, and everybody started screaming Mandela effect. We have to document this now. Everybody buy the copy of the magazine so that we remember this the way it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's not just...
And he even brought it up.
Yeah. So, no more of that. But, yeah, share your Mandela effect. I keep saying it wrong. Mandela effect experiences. We want to know what you got. So, and Montana, if you can remember the date on the back of that ornament, that would really help me, because that's my personal Mandela experiences. When did Hello Kitty get introduced to the United States?
Yes.
It's completely meaningless in the grand scheme of things, but that's something that just bothers me.
See, not everybody is affected by this whole Mandela effect thing. There's a lot of people that have...
Yeah.
They're just... not affected whatsoever. They couldn't tell you either way, right? And there's theories that some of those people who are not affected or have some sort of keen awareness to what's really going on. That goes back to, like, Donald Trump's uncle actually worked at CERN, and so they say that Donald Trump is one of these people who know the truth.
Yeah.
And then it sort of ties in with Matthew McConaughey, Pharrell, Keanu Reeves, all of that stuff. So there's a group of people who aren't affected, as in... it just doesn't affect them either way, because they're either outside of it. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of crazy, but...
Montana remembers a completely different date on that ornament.
I think you're both wrong.
Okay. It could be.
It probably says made in Taiwan.
Well, it probably did. But, the way I remembered it, it said 1972 on it, which meant it was sitting in some gift shop for at least a decade, because... I didn't get that ornament until I was barely a year and a half, 2 years old. And I grew up with it. So, and that was the thing. Like, wow, this ornament's
It's kind of like
so
when you
old.
see like stuff from back when Japan was like Nippon. Mm-hmm. And then Japan with an E. And then Japan with an A. Which one's right?
But you can still find those. I can't even find this.
But what if that's what that is?
I can't even find this ornament online. That's what really messes me up, is I can't even find this existence of this ornament. I found all my other Hello Kitty stuff because I had some rare stuff.
Yeah.
And I even resold some of it for crazy money. But I could never find this ornament, and it bothers me.
It's kind of crazy.
So, yeah.
You know what you can find?
What?
You can find our t-shirts and sweatshirts and stuff in the store.
Yep.
You can still get it for 25% off.
Yeah.
Because she still hasn't changed the coupon code.
So use the coupon code XMSRush to get your little discount.
If you want like a sweatshirt or something like that.
Yeah, I forgot to turn off the code, so you can still get our t-shirts.
Yeah, so it's possible they're selling out. I haven't checked, so I don't know. I don't know. We made them cheap so you can get them. So.
Yeah. Because I remember the gold sticker, yeah. And it said made in Taiwan. But I remembered a date because it was printed in the same ink as the Sanrio. Yeah. And that ornament didn't make the time shift great. So we do have a little bit of stupid news to get off the topic of the Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Because it is a rabbit hole. We could sit here all night.
So in the past couple podcasts, going back multiple episodes ago, every so often I talk about the police doing stupid stuff and locking people up, right? One guy was locked up because of the glaze that came off of Krispy Kreme donut. They're like, this is meth. And they locked him up. And it took a lot of effort for him to actually get out of jail because of the Krispy Kreme donut glaze. As in, a third-party company had to test it and go, yeah, this is basically made out of sugar, hydrogenated soy. It basically said donut glaze. But the cops, they tested it. They put the little thing in there and they shook it up and said, oh, that's meth. Right? And this has happened multiple times. And I come across this one. This is more of a rant for me. There's a lady, right? She got pulled over and she had what looked to be a bag of cotton candy. And they tested that cotton candy, and the lady spent 3 months in jail because the field test came up and said that it was methamphetamine related, or meth.
Oh my God.
The lady actually wasn't a mathematician at all. She actually had cotton candy, so they let this lady out after 3... Here's the thing. They did the test that went off to the lab. The lab tested and said, no, it's cotton candy. It took the police another month to drop the charges and release her.
Yeah.
So this lady was arrested. 3 months she spent in jail for cotton candy. And come to find out, the bargain basement test that a lot of police departments are using, this field test, is known for having lots of false positives. Which basically says that whatever it is that's been tested, it tests positively for whatever you're testing for, but the result is actually false. Thousands of people have been arrested because of these crappy little tests that they give.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at it, and it's obviously cotton candy, but nope, the test says one thing and they lock you up, then you become a victim in the system where it takes forever to get out of it. It's like going to DMV. It's like, jail is like DMV. It's awful, right? Killing me. So there you go. So if you ever get arrested for anything like that, you need to get a lawyer like immediately. Do not wait.
Yeah. $1 million bond.
$1 million bond.
So she could, and she,
because she was such a drug addict, kingpin drug lady person, that she had this stuff, and they're like, oh my God, you have such a mass quantity of meth.
And when you pay your bond, you don't have to pay. Bond. You don't have to pay the $1 million, but you do have to pay the cash.
You have to pay a percentage of it.
Yeah.
And if that percentage of $1 million is like what, say 10%? How much is that?
I don't know.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but you can't afford it. So she had to stay in jail, and it's funny because these kids have gotten in trouble in 2016 for routinely producing false positives. Guidelines have been issued by the Justice Department, but still these kits are still being used as hard evidence, and that just bothers me. Other places like Houston has noticed so many problems with these kits. They've decided, Houston police, we're not going to use these kits anymore. So yeah. But,
oh no, people remembering your hair as being a different color. Your hair and your name were different.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, me too. Can you imagine getting pulled over, a fat guy with Krispy Kreme donuts? Look at all that meth. That meth all in your car.
I don't, it's just unnerving that, I don't see any apology in this article at all.
I like the comment, $1 million bond. What is she, like a Bond villain?
Yeah.
And a doctor. See, that's the problem you have. See, this mistake can wreck your whole life because of this mistake. Because of part of how the system works. That's the problem I have. I like cops doing their job and doing all that sort of thing. But when you get hung up in the system, and it takes, after they realize that it was cotton candy and it still takes a month to get out of jail? That's bullshit, man. I'd want to be, as soon as they say, yep, that's cotton candy, I want to be out immediately.
Monroe County
Crazy.
Sheriff's Office has not
wrecked it.
replied to requests from anybody, including CBS News, as a response to this matter.
Yes.
So they're keeping shut. My thing is, before this hit the news, did they issue an apology? Or did they just double down and keep her in jail even longer?
No, they're not going to say anything because the city leaders will be like, we need to let the state attorney handle this. Or the city handle this.
You mean like New Mexico does when they do something wrong?
Well, New Mexico locked somebody up on suspicion of drunk driving charges, and then they found out 2 years later that they had him locked up. Remember that guy?
Oh.
Locked up.
Yeah.
He had been in jail for 2 years in solitary.
And he didn't even...
He wasn't charged with a crime.
Yeah.
He had to extract his own tooth. And he kept saying, hey, I need, where's my trial? And they were like, whatever, man, it'll come to you, whatever. That dude was locked up for 2 years, wasn't charged with an offense at all.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I would sue them for like $800 million.
Which is what he's trying to do. It's close to that.
Well, it should be.
Yeah. So, but...
I mean, the system is broken in a lot of ways. But you know what, though? And that can happen overseas in another country, and they just never hear from you again.
Yeah.
They don't have to give you a fair trial. They don't have to give you a trial. So...
His health took a major dive.
Who? And they killed that guy.
Your blood type shows you're KFC positive.
Telling you, man. KFC positive.
So, and then, going off of this just terrible news, I mean, being locked up in jail for 3 months over cotton candy, you have that going on, which is alarming, and as citizens, we should be aware of things like this.
Yeah, prison is definitely a business.
Yeah. On the other end of it, we have police making light of things. The Louisiana police are now warning that meth produced in Louisiana may have the Zika virus, so they are offering free testing. Please bring in your meth so we can test it for possible Zika virus.
I say let's bring like 5 or 10 bags of Walmart cotton candy down there.
And if you're not comfortable bringing it into the station, don't worry. They'll send a patrol car to your home to test if your meth has the Zika virus.
So do you guys remember the in Monopoly? What was that guy's name? What was it? The guy, the Monopoly guy, having a monocle or no monocle?
Monocle.
I remember him having a monocle.
Yes.
You know what they're saying now? Mm-hmm. He didn't have a monocle. He never had a monocle.
And they're also saying that
I think that's wrong.
We're confusing the Monopoly guy with Mr. Peanut.
That's not true at all. Because Mr. Peanut is a freaking peanut.
Yeah. So
I'm not from that part of history where you have to warn people that peanut butter is made in a facility that contains peanuts. There's warnings on peanut butter that if you're allergic to peanut butter, don't eat peanut butter. Just saying.
But
ridiculous.
Yes, please bring your Zika infected meth to the Louisiana police and they will be happy to test it.
Monocle, see?
Yeah.
The guy's name is that really his name? Milton Moneybags?
Yeah. So, and then what's funny is earlier this May, the Gratis Police Department in Ohio wrote the same exact announcement on their Facebook page, but it actually resulted in arrests. So, that's our stupid news. Yeah.
I like the ones where they just call up random criminals and go, "Hey, you've won a television. Come on down and pick it up."
Oh, well, I was gonna mention that one. Oh man. So this criminal, he...
Oh, hold on.
Yeah?
If the coffee is also hot, if you're referring to... Man, I think that was a neon. That was probably a Dodge Neon.
No, it wasn't.
Wasn't a neon?
Yeah.
So with that one particular case about McDonald's where the lady got scalded and, burnt with the hot coffee, there was actually something wrong with that coffee pot. That thing made coffee over 200 degrees. This has been average between 180 and 200 degrees.
Yeah.
Is how hot that coffee came out. And the lady was like 80 years old, and it actually burned the skin off of her.
Yeah, she had to get, like, she had third-degree burns.
Yeah, she had to get multiple grafts.
In her lady area.
Yeah.
And
it was a pretty sad story. This guy used to go, or actually her son, I think, would pick her up and they would go get coffee once a week. And they knew that machine was wrong, and the temperature thermostat built into the coffee pot to keep the coffee hot was malfunctioning. They didn't fix it, so she got coffee at over 200 degrees, and it caused third-degree burns. So, yeah, coffee is hot, but that's a little excessive.
Yeah,
that's like super hot. So there you go.
But and then the employees had been getting complaints that the coffee they were serving
it was too hot, and the cup itself, the styrofoam cup that McDonald's used to serve coffee, and I think they still do, actually sort of melted because it was so hot. So yeah, and yeah, Brian, you're right. That coffee burned the hell out of her, and we did see that documentary on Netflix.
Yeah, there's also regarding the lady who burnt herself. There's a show.
She's old too, like 80 years old.
Well, there was a show, Adam Ruins Everything. He did a little expose on that too. It was pretty sad. So, yeah. That's just good coffee. Shut up, Seegers.
That's not good coffee. That is garbage coffee.
Yeah. I mean...
Garbage coffee.
Garbage. Oh, come on. But we're talking about, you know, some of the behavior from police and media and things like that. I was trying to bring up a story for you guys about South Carolina deputies trolling a suspect with his cell phone. They had run after a suspect, Sean Hagan. He dropped his phone during a pursuit, and someone at the Berkeley County Sheriff's Office picked it up.
Shh, shh. Somebody's coming.
Really?
No.
Okay, that was the rain. Anyways, they opened his phone, managed to unlock it, and started posting to Facebook. Like, "Hi Sean, you lost your phone while running from the police. Please contact the sheriff's office if you want it back." And they also wrote, "Next time, secure all valuables before running from us." So they just kept posting and posting, and finally, from tips through Facebook, they caught him. And then they shared that on their Facebook page. So, they awarded her 1 day's profit from coffee sales at McDonald's. That's a lot of money.
I didn't know that. That's definitely a lot of money.
Yeah. Oh no, where is it?
Very nice.
Yep. Oh.
What?
So the holidays were good. We mentioned at the very start of this how we sent a Christmas package and it didn't even get to the people we sent it to till, I guess, today. Here's an example of not just Christmas packages gone wrong, but people still being good people. Good guy Dale. This man, he orders a diamond bracelet for his wife's Christmas present, and he received a box with 48 diamond bracelets in it. 48.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I would call them up and go, "Hey, your box with 46 bracelets."
Well, he called them up, and he's like, "Hey guys, there's something very wrong with this order." And they started panicking, because technically, he didn't have to call. And he could have told them, and he was under no obligation to mail them back, which he did. Which, 48? Imagine, man, he was already saving up to buy her a diamond bracelet for Christmas.
Yeah.
And now he's got like 47 extra ones. He mailed them back. In exchange, they sent his wife matching diamond earrings to match her bracelet.
Oh.
Yeah. So
nice.
And there's still good people trying to do the right thing in the world.
So, what's for dinner? We're being asked in the comments.
Chicken Alfredo?
Chicken Alfredo.
Yes. So, hopefully.
Nice.
So, I put the crock pot on high, so hopefully when we get back it'll be done. Oh yeah. Happy New Year.
Jeff Hitchhots is here.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I was hoping Prospero might be in here. So, Montana's eating chili.
He's showing off.
Yeah.
I'm eating chili.
He's eating chili and corn and fry bread tonight.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So.
That's right.
Yeah. But
I like fry bread.
I wanted to see if Prospero would drop into the live chat, live VanCast, because the other news is that I guess Manitoba The Royal Canadian Mint is going to start printing a new coin that actually has a UFO on it.
Ooh.
Yeah, the Royal Canadian Mint's newest offering features Manitoba's most famous UFO encounter, which happened in 1967 near Falcon Lake. And yeah, Falcon Lake was like their most well-known UFO encounter. Basically, this dude and his son were rock hounding. They were looking for rocks. And they were looking for gold, silver, and precious metals along, White Shell Provincial Park.
You made the spaghettis. Made the spaghettis.
Yeah. And suddenly they spotted 2 craft appearing in the sky and one landed about 50 meters away from where they were. Yeah. One craft left, the other stayed. They observed it from a bush for about half an hour before approaching it. When they approached the craft, they described a saucer shape made of stainless steel material. They touched it, and the heat melted the fingertips of his heavy gloves. There was an opening to put his head through, but he was too scared. The craft then expelled a cloud of gas and lifted off, knocking Stefan off his feet, setting his shirt aflame and leaving a distinct pattern of burns on his chest. So that's now being minted into a coin in Canada.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
So Seeger says he made the spaghettis because someone had to get her CEUs in at the last moment. Is that continuing education units?
Yeah.
Is that what that is? Well, it's good. Did you
Good.
make the garlic breads too?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm old and not afraid anymore. Of making spaghetti?
Oh.
Everybody should know how to make spaghetti. Spaghetti is
Yeah.
delicious.
Spaghetti is a life skill.
Yeah.
I watched something on the news about,
And here's a question. Do you mix the sauce with the spaghetti or do you put it on top?
ooh, that's a good one.
We'll wait.
Yeah.
That's a good question. We're waiting.
Okay.
So you need to keep looking at me.
All right.
Let's see what happens. Let me play some waiting music.
On top.
All right, we got one for on top.
Yep.
Who's next?
Spaghetti. Mix the sauce and stuff in or put it on top.
Owner.
Mix. Helena mixes it.
Ooh. Mixes, huh?
Yeah. On top.
Who?
Oh, wow. My brother and his lady disagree. Mix.
Ooh. So how many is that mix? We got 2 mixes and 3 on tops?
Oh, let's see. 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2. Oh. I think we have 2 mixes. Oh, nope. 2 mixes? Yeah. Wow.
So the ones that do the mix, evidently used to eat the SpaghettiOs in the can and think that's how you're supposed to do it.
I don't think that's why.
I bet you it's true. Isn't it true? Let's ask them.
No.
Savages. And I think also part of the mix is you mix it up like that because look, little kids, man.
Ah, leave the extra spaghetti for butter only. I used to do that too. Yeah. Butter, and then you'd sprinkle cheese on it. Shaky cheese.
You can't do that if it's all mixed.
Yeah, so that's why you do it on top, like, yeah. And you can also leave the extra spaghetti to make, like...
If you do it right, there is no extra spaghetti.
You can make spaghetti carbonara. Yep, butter and Parmesan. That's so good.
No, it's not.
Yes, it
What
is.
is wrong with you guys?
You can make spaghetti carbonara, too. So...
Which is dry.
It's supposed to be dry. It's supposed to be a dry
No,
meal.
it's not supposed to be gross.
So that you suck down water and fill up quicker. So...
Now you were just making shit up.
No, I'm not.
Yes.
Our dad would make us that.
And that's what he told you.
It was...
My dad said that the egg in the basket sandwich where you, like, you pull the center out and you put an egg, like you cook a fried egg on a piece of bread. You ever done that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he told me that was called a one-eyed Egyptian.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's called an egg in a basket.
Oh, okay.
See? But he also made some amazing stew.
Because my dad called it.
And it was called cannon stew. I always enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thousand Island with the extra spaghetti. Nope.
Savages.
But yeah.
That doesn't taste too bad. I can see that. That probably wouldn't be too bad. That comes from having salad with your spaghetti and having Thousand Island dressing, and it kind of commingles.
Yeah. So
it's probably delicious. Or not.
I got raised with spaghetti having the sauce and everything on top. The Canadian caves and the Canadian listener in.
Yeah, he actually told us that there was $1 million fine for that cave. So, but he normally listens to the podcast
on Sundays.
The audio podcast, and in comments.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have the opportunity to, I guess, watch this podcast. But he is making a movie, believe it or not. So
yeah.
I don't know anything else about it, but she's obviously not watching, because Seegers is like, she's from Chester. I can't help it. I did not know this before we got married. Sorry, man. But does she mix spaghetti?
Or does she put it on top?
What's it going to be? Spaghetti and Big Mac sauce. That's right.
Yeah.
I was here. See you next year. Very nice. So, I guess
that's all we get from Spooner. Oh, she just
nice.
Doesn't care.
Oh, she's listening. Look at him. Flirting with disaster. How'd you start out 2019? What? How'd you start out 2019? What? What's the matter with you? She ripped my ear off. So, no lag, that's right. I am old and no longer flayed. Yes. Well, I think if you're going to make spaghetti, the sauce needs to go on top.
Yes.
And that's the way I've had it for many years. And I will say that, you know, when my kids made spaghetti and they mixed the sauce, I was like, where did I go wrong? So.
What do you mean, where did you go wrong?
Because when I made them spaghetti, I never mixed it.
Yeah.
At least that was my memory. Now, if it's different, or if they remember it differently, that's the Mandela effect.
No, maybe their mom taught them something different. Because my aunt used to do that. She used to mix the spaghetti, and I hated it. Because it
never tastes spaghetti enough.
Because she would mix just straight sauce, though. She'd never put anything else in there.
Might as well just get a can of SpaghettiOs.
Like, she wouldn't heat up the sauce or anything. She'd literally dump it in there in the
it's funny.
noodles.
The people that say mix have yet to comment again since they said mix.
Yeah.
I think it's because they're ashamed.
No.
And or embarrassed.
Because here's the thing.
Because they're savages.
I'll make chili mac, which you mix the noodles in.
But that's different, though. That's chili mac you're supposed to.
Okay. So it's fine if it's chili mac. Just very particular. So.
Because that's how you make chili mac.
But for people who mix it, try it once without mixing it. Just, put the noodles, then put the meat sauce, and then do the cheese. Do it like layers. So try it once, please.
Yes.
I'm not a food snob.
Yeah, because, hey, look, we eat SpaghettiOs.
Yeah.
No, we don't. We don't eat SpaghettiOs.
He's calling out his wife so hard. She mixes all her food like she's 6.
Savages.
You're going to cause an argument.
So. She mixes all of her food and puts it in one bowl. That's it. I do that with corned beef and cabbage and potatoes. Well, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But spaghetti, you savage. You don't mix it. So, Texas
people
Pete or no?
savages.
Yeah, Texas Pete.
Texas Pete.
Yes.
Yeah. Because Texas Pete blends with blends with chili better than
Texas Pete. I like Texas Pete a lot.
Yeah.
It's better than like Louisiana hot sauce. There are garbage out there.
It blends better than Tabasco, to be honest.
Tabasco's for suckers.
Yeah.
Texas Pete's super tasty, and you know what's right on par with Texas Pete?
What?
Sriracha.
Yeah. I've actually put sriracha in our spaghetti a couple times.
Yeah, I know.
So, yeah.
I can tell who served by their Texas Pete. That's right.
Well, no, because I grew up in a military household. I didn't serve, so...
I know.
Yeah.
Texas Pete.
So, well, we had...
And, you know, we used to have that garbage on the ship, the Louisiana hot sauce stuff.
Yeah.
And I used to get, well, I did, during the whole Desert Storm, Shield, all that other garbage. Dad would send, he sent me, like, pretty much like a case of Texas Pete. And I sold those little bottles for $10 a piece. Because I got tired of people asking me. It's like, man, you got any Texas Pete? I'm like, dude, I got like 2 bottles. Like, I'll buy it from you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tabasco is for cleaning brass and not human consumption.
I would agree.
Okay.
Tabasco is for suckers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Cholola's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like that stuff. But it's not Texas Pete.
Yeah.
That's right. Everybody, you know, in the military has it. That's true.
Yeah.
See, on the Navy ships is a little bit different because some of these people just didn't know any better.
And see.
And, you know, I don't know. But I did, man. I kept my Texas Pete.
But in my household, it was Texas Pete and Kikkoman.
I understand the family serves as well, but,
Yeah.
you know, I get all that. But,
Yeah.
yes.
So we had Texas Pete, Kikkoman, and any other soy sauce was trash sauce. So that's the rule in my household. And now, I guess, yeah.
You need, well, sriracha's good. You got to put sriracha in there.
Tapatio.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet they do. Tapatio. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But, you know, and when it comes to, like, the Worcester sauce, so you got to use Lee and Perrins.
Oh, yeah. That's, yeah.
Not some fake crap.
Ken's.
You know what the weird taste is in Lee and
Yeah.
Perrins?
What?
Plum. It's actually a plum sauce.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Sriracha. Sriracha is super tasty, man.
Yeah. I made sriracha jerky a few months ago. That was pretty good. Because I made honey sriracha jerky. So.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. We're just seeing how busy it is at the Walmarts. So. What in the
Very
world?
nice.
2 connections. Who's connected to me?
Who's connected to you?
The mayonnaise. Oh, what brand mayonnaise? I got into this argument in a hiking group I'm in. What brand mayonnaise is the best mayonnaise?
So it depends, because you used to have JFG used to be really good. If you're in Carolina, for me it's Duke's.
Yeah.
Duke's has amazing mayonnaise. Hellman's used to be okay, but
They've changed.
it's not the same. I still like Duke's, but
Yeah.
that's just me.
But see, I grew up with...
Yellow and black label, tastes good in potato salad. Hellman's is okay, but Hellman's isn't Hellman's anymore.
Yeah. I grew up
So,
with Hellman's, and
Duke's.
then as a grown-up, I started using Duke's.
Yeah.
So,
But if
yeah.
you couldn't find Duke's, JFG.
Yeah.
You remember that, Seegers, JFG?
Yeah. Duke's mayonnaise.
Yeah, if you're on the left coast, it's either going to be Hellman's or Best Food. Yeah, if you had Duke's, you'd like it because it's weird. It's
Yeah.
creamier. It actually has a little taste to it.
Yeah.
So, yes, indeed.
Duke's is gluten-free.
Pretty much all mayonnaise is gluten-free.
Yeah.
All it is basically oil and an egg.
While it is the 3rd largest mayonnaise brand in the United States, its popularity is largely limited to the South and certain types of shops like Philly cheesesteak shops and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So when you get mayonnaise in a lot of these small shops, it's basically Duke's.
Yeah.
So, that's right. You can't make a tomato sandwich without Duke's. JFG was good, man. You could do either one.
Yeah.
But it's like a little bit of Duke's mayo, a lot of salt, a lot of pepper. Super tasty.
Oh, light mayo. Yeah. No. In fact,
Light mayo is for suckers, man. It doesn't belong.
little tip, if you're one of those people that when you eat at Subway and you get an upset tummy, it might be because they're using light mayo. If you ask them, you know, make sure they put the real mayo on. The real mayo, which gets used more often and gets changed out more frequently.
Yeah, JFG does have
You're
coffee,
likely
and I remember it
not
not
to
being too bad. Because it doesn't have chicory in it, but it had a distinct taste.
Yeah.
So,
Man, I haven't had deviled eggs in a while. So.
Tasty.
What were we talking about?
Spaghetti on top.
Oh, okay.
Savages. And the savages who mix it. Yes, indeed.
Yep.
So, speaking of savages, we're about to leave you savages because it's late. It's like 7 o'clock or 9 o'clock, depending on where you are.
We're not sure if Brian is already over partied or if
He's
he
probably
left.
asleep
I know. Yeah.
on the couch.
But we are glad everybody could join us. So, yeah. I don't know what else to say. You and your Jolt Cola.
It's delicious. Tastes like garbage, but it feels great.
I don't like it. I just don't. It's it has a hint of a medicine I used to take as a little kid.
Yeah, that medicine is called caffeine.
No, they didn't give me caffeine as a medicine. So.
They used to give cocaine and heroin as medicines.
Would you quit insulting your wife in the chat?
Yeah, I don't know if I would call her that, man. That's
yeah.
it's a little inappropriate.
I think New Year's Eve starts to mean less to you the older you get.
Yes.
Yeah, for us, it's just another day to be careful on the roads and be nice to people. So
thanks for the podcast and company on the road this year. Very nice. Happy New Year's to you, Mr. Seegers.
So
much appreciated for
Yeah.
the listenings. Yeah, and the next year we're going to have more interviews. We're working on an interview with somebody who actually contacted us because they heard our podcast about something we talked about in the podcast, which was actually them.
Yeah.
So they're like, you know, hey, this podcast talked about something I did, and they reached out to us and wanted to know if we wanted an update.
Yeah.
And it has to do with the chupacabra. And so we
Yes.
need to respond and see if we can coordinate something so we can do an interview for the new year. So New Year's going to be pretty good for us, I think, 2019. Got a lot invested in it, so we got a lot to do.
Yeah.
Lots more content, lots of interviews, lots of shows. So be sure to check out The Ordinary Hiker
And
and Leftovers for Dinner. I've got more Cheap Geek videos to do, so it's going to be good.
Yeah.
So, oh,
They're just talking terrible to each other
they're
in the
just
chat.
thrashing each other. It's going to be a fight.
Yep.
You know who's going to lose?
Who?
Your brother.
Yeah, it's true.
She's going to assemble all of her children together and create a fighting robot. And will destroy you, Montana. She'll be like, and I'll form the head. And then that's when the ass kicking starts. Voltron style. Yep.
But we are
Form of Ginger Blast. You better be careful, bro. I'm putting on my seatbelt.
But we are so glad you guys join us and try to watch us when we go live and do the VanCasts. Try to listen to the audio podcast. We appreciate it.
Gingertron. That's a better name.
We are doing a mini contest right now where if you review the podcast, you know, go on whatever podcast player you listen to the audio on, give us a rating, let us know. You're going to be put into a drawing for a sticker and maybe some other swag.
Ooh.
Because we do have special swag that we just got in the mail that we're very excited about. And that's all I'm going to say. Would you stop?
Captain Planet rings.
Yes.
If they're not infinity rings, you better put them Captain Planet rings away.
Those recyclable.
Yeah, it's about as effective as like Jan and Zana or whatever it was. I'll form a bucket of steam. You know, and I'll form a chicken, right? Yeah, come on. They were useless. Remember those two? And Gleek was the only one that was worth anything.
Yeah.
Little stupid purple monkey. Yep. I think it was Gleep. Was his name Gleep or Gleek?
I don't know. Maybe we should.
K or a P at the end?
All right.
I don't know. I have no idea. All right, well, that's all we got.
Okay.
You
So
guys got anything? Any questions, comments, concerns? Any New Year's resolutions we need to be aware of?
our resolution to you guys is to produce more content that you guys can interact with and watch. Yep. 2019 is going to be different.
Gleek. Yes, that's what I
Yes.
thought. So yeah, hopefully 2019 will be much better than this turd that was 2018. Because Happy New Year, Miss Espinoza.
Happy New Year.
I don't remember 2018 being especially good.
No.
So
Yeah.
I don't want to use the back camera. The back camera is way bigger in file size and frame rates and everything, and it makes things difficult to stream.
Yeah.
Because I've been watching our frame rate. It's set for 24 frames per second, not 30. If we do 30, it'll be a little bit better. But
Oh, look, Brian woke up.
Very nice.
Happy New Year, Brian.
Happy New Year, Brian. See you
Yeah.
later, Seegers.
Later, Seegers. Happy
Yeah.
New Year.
And the back camera's for suckers,
Yes.
especially when you're doing 720p, because we know you're streaming from a freaking parking lot. So
Yeah.
we will do that. We will stay safe.
Yes.
So because after this, we get to go and get stuck again
Yeah.
in the mud.
In the mud. Sorry about that, but we got stuck in the mud.
Terrible.
So,
All right.
get a better parking lot.
Hey man, you gotta do the best you can, bro.
Yeah. It
So-
is Carolina.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to see you stream for a minute.
Yeah.
Brian says I was in the kitchen. That's right. Where's my sandwich?
New Year's sandwich.
Yeah,
So, all right.
sandwich for
y'all.
the poor. Hey Brian, do you do spaghetti with the sauce on top? Or do you mix it like a savage?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you hang up.
No,
Yeah.
you hang up.
Who had black-eyed peas for dinner though?
See,
That's supposed to be not the night before. That's the night after. That's how you
Yeah.
bring in the New Year.
right?
Yeah.
Now I have to Google it. So,
You have a little Hoppin' John, super tasty.
so
She's Googling it.
yeah, I'm Googling it. So, New Year's Day.
New Year's Day is when you have the black-eyed peas.
Yep.
Or Hoppin' John. Yep. So that would be in about a couple hours or so. Depending on where
So, traditional New Year's Day supper is a meal of greens, Hoppin' John, black-eyed peas, cornbread, and pot liquor soup.
Yeah.
Now I gotta look that up too.
Yeah. So Brian says you mix some of the sauce into the noodles and then you serve with the sauce on top. I've had that. That actually works very well. Way to compromise. Yes.
I appreciate your compromise.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't really register black-eyed peas as being a band.
Or music.
So.
Hard pass.
Hard pass on what? On mixing or not mixing?
She mixes, so.
I know.
All right, y'all.
Okay, so see you later. See you next year. You guys all be careful. Thank you very
Yes.
much for watching.
Happy New
So-
Year, everybody.
So we'll see you later.
Yep.
Take it easy. But
What?
Jackie Rackham
Yeah.
calls them problems.
You better
I'm
eat some-
Italian. That's how we do.
Yeah.
Very nice. Hey, Happy New Year, everybody. See you later.